Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to break down a method for, well, basically 100x in your productivity. In a world that's pretty much designed to steal our focus, learning how to master your attention is probably the single most important skill for success. So let's dive into the 4 rules that can help you get it back. And this quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? We're all living with this constant battle between our desire to create, to do meaningful work, and, well, the world's endless supply of shiny distractions. It is a battle for our focus, and it's one we absolutely have to win.
So, what's the real cost of losing that battle? Check this out. According to research, this is how much time the average person loses to distraction every single day. Just think about that for a second. Over 2 hours of our most valuable resource, our time, just vanishes into thin air. That's the price we pay for a fragmented attention span.
Right, so that brings us to our first big idea. We are living in the age of distraction. But here's the thing, the top performers, the A players, they operate differently. It's not that they have more time than we do, they just consciously and fiercely protect their focus. And this is the key insight. Your ability to just concentrate, to go deep on one thing, is now way more valuable than just raw intelligence. So, how do we get that focus back? We're going to walk through 4 really powerful protocols designed to do just that. All right, let's get into the first rule. It's called the 90-90-1 rule. And it's so simple, so elegant, but incredibly powerful for structuring the start of your day to make sure you're making progress on what actually matters. Okay, so let's break this down. First, the commitment is for 90 days. That's long enough to forge a real automatic habit. The time? The first 90 minutes of your workday. And the target? Your single most important game-changing opportunity. We're not talking about emails or social media. We're talking about the one project that will move the needle the most for you. So why the first 90 minutes? Well, the science on this is really clear. Our brains are at their absolute peak in the morning. This is when our focus is the sharpest, our energy is at its highest, and our willpower hasn't been drained by a million tiny decisions throughout the day. The whole key is to invest this peak state into your most important work, instead of, squandering it on low-value stuff. All right, rule number 2. This one shifts our attention from just managing our time to actually engineering our environment. This is all about creating spaces that are intentionally built for deep, uninterrupted work. So what's a tight bubble of total focus? Think of it as a protected space and a protected block of time where you are completely 100% unreachable. That means no phone, no notifications, no one tapping you on the shoulder. It's about making yourself hard to reach for a little while so you can be available for your most important work. And get this, the cost of a single interruption is just staggering. It takes, on average, 21 minutes to get your full concentration back. So by creating these focus bubbles, you totally eliminate that constant switching back and forth. This lets your brain shift from that busy, scattered beta state into a calm, creative, and super focused alpha state. And that's where your best ideas and your best work really come from. Okay, on to our third rule, mastering your social orbit. This one's about the powerful and often totally invisible influence of the people we spend our time with. It's about curating your social environment just as carefully as you do your physical one. This is a core scientific principle. Whether we realize it or not, our brains are constantly watching and modeling the habits, the standards, and the behaviors of our peer group. And this can either lift our performance up or drag it right down to mediocrity. And this is exactly how it happens in your brain. It's called the mirror neuron system. So first, you observe the people in your social circle. Then, subconsciously, your brain starts to mirror and model what they do. And finally, you end up adopting their level of performance as your own. It's simple, really. If you surround yourself with A players, you will subconsciously raise your own game. And it's not just about behavior. This whole process also applies to emotions and energy. It's a phenomenon called emotional contagion, where we literally catch the feelings of those around us. So if your circle is inspired, energetic, and optimistic, guess what? That energy is going to become your own. And that brings us to our 4th and final principle. This one applies a design philosophy to your work and your life. It's about achieving more by focusing on less. It's the concept of learned minimalism. I love this quote because it just flips the whole script on what we think genius is. We often think being productive means juggling more projects, more connections, more information. But real genius, that world-class output, it comes from an intense, monomaniacal focus on just a few things. It's all about stripping away everything that's non-essential. I mean, just look at the difference here. The cluttered approach is all about breadth, trying to do everything at once. But the minimalist approach is all about depth. So instead of 50 scattered projects, you focus on 3 vital ones. Instead of 1,000 superficial connections, you cultivate 3 deep friendships. The takeaway is pretty simple. You have to simplify to amplify. So let's pull all 4 of these rules together. See, they aren't just separate tactics you can try. They actually form a complete philosophy for protecting your most valuable inner resources in a world that's constantly trying to drain them. At the end of the day, your ability to perform at the highest level doesn't really come from external tools or apps. It comes from mastering and investing 3 core internal assets. These are the resources that all 4 of these rules are designed to protect. And here they are: your focus, your energy, and your willpower. This is like your personal trinity for high performance. Every rule we've talked about serves to protect and enhance these assets. The 90-99 rule: invest them wisely. Focus bubbles: shield them. Your social orbit replenishes them. And minimalism concentrates them on what matters most. And that brings us to the final question. This is where all the theory gets real. So forget about tomorrow, forget about later today. Right now, what is the single most important opportunity that you could work on for the next 90 minutes that would totally change the game for you? Your answer to that question? That's where this journey begins.